Hey, I'm Kate from Venison for Dinner, and today I've got a quick chatty video for you about how I get it all done. First of all, I think the common answer when people ask someone how to get it all done, they always say, oh, I outsource this, or I don't do this, or I don't do that, or that sort of thing. And that is true. I don't do a lot of different things. I outsource things. That part is true. But I'm going to give you actionable steps on how you can get what you need done this summer. If you are a homesteading, farming, or just someone who likes to be outdoors, lots in nice weather, I'm going to give you a rough idea on how we plan our days. So, the first thing you're going to need to do is make a rough timeline, so to speak, on the times a day that are most ideal to be outside in hot weather and the times a day that are most ideal to be inside. So for us, it starts out pretty chilly in the morning sometimes. You can get outside first thing in the morning, but I don't find that super helpful for me to get outside first thing. I find it super helpful for me to just get going on some things inside first. And then we head outside, and then by about lunchtime it's hot and we need to come inside. And then we need to go back out again in the late afternoon to do animals, and then we roll into dinner, that sort of stuff, and then quite often once the kids are in bed and it's cooled down some, Marius and I will head back outside to work. So, a few things that are going to keep your sanity is, number one, you're going to lower your housekeeping standards. It's summer. You're going to live outside a lot. It's probably going to be dirtier than normal, and your toilets are going to go longer than normal than being clean. But you know what? You got all winter to clean your toilets, okay? Lower those standards. You're good. You'll be fine. Number two, you still need to keep everybody fed. And I find when you're in the rush of growing food and enjoying the outdoor weather, it's hard to come inside and actually cook food. So I implemented 2 years ago, at 4 o'clock we do afternoon animal chores. So at 3 o'clock, it's kitchen power hour. So I'm doing things like prepping breakfast, marinating meat, getting meat out for tomorrow, baking a batch of muffins, getting a loaf of sourdough going, feeding my sourdough starter, cleaning the kitchen. For an hour, I'm in the kitchen. Doing this has a significant impact on my whole day. And this will help you. It makes a huge difference. Instead, we'd just be outside, inside doing what we need to, go back out to do animals, and then we'd come back in and it'd be dinner time and there would be no dinner started because we were too busy and crazy. So getting yourself an hour in your day, no matter what hour you choose, pick a chunk of time that you need to designate to making food if you want to keep your family fed. Because here's the thing. Your family is going to have their own standards of what eating to your ideal looks like. Our family goes by an 80-20 moderation. That means you're going to find the odd box of crackers and chocolate bar and chips and such in our cupboards, but mostly we don't feel great when we eat that. We prefer to keep those sort of things for when we go to other people's houses and we enjoy what they serve us, and if we eat them too often, too many of us end up with tummy aches. So I feel like sometimes people get so busy with growing food and preserving food that you forget about the food that needs to happen right now. And you end up relying on conveniences in summer, that it's okay to have conveniences and it's okay to take it easy on yourself, but you can also work it into your day some. The other thing that we make sure happens is sometimes the kids get to pick whether they do it before or after they take care of the animals. But about that time, and this is a grounding time in our day, 4 p.m. One of the reasons this is a grounding time is we want to have this stuff done before Marius gets home. Not because he cares how the house looks, but just when he gets home, we want to be free to just hang out with him. We want to be done our work for the day too. When he works, we work. That's how our family works. So the kids need to do a main floor tidy. Quite often they're doing a vacuum every couple days too. Sometimes if the house needs a good vacuum, I'll be the one to go, okay, I'm gonna start vacuuming. You guys start picking stuff up. I'll start in this room, so you get picking up this room first. And we go, and it goes quickly, and it takes less time than you think. It's really important that you train your kids to help. It takes a lot of effort up front, and it's exhausting to train your kids to help. But you need them. They make this mess too. They should have to clean up this mess too. Last summer, Mac was in charge of making a gallon of iced tea every day. Marius takes a half gallon in his lunch every day for electrolytes to keep himself well hydrated. So that's something Mac was in charge of every day. Hamish set the coffee pot up. You know, they're all really capable, and especially when they're jobs that serve their dad, they are really keen to do them. That really makes them feel really good too, that they can help Marius because he's gone so much for work. It makes them feel really good. So our family feels it's important to not bake in the sun all day. There you go. I know, sounds silly, but we don't think that putting on sunscreen means you can now stay out in the sun longer, because when kids are out in the sun too long, they get cranky and they get whiny and they get fussy and they don't feel so great. So we just prefer to kind of manage that by them playing in the shade and them wearing hats and lightweight long sleeve cotton button-ups and coming inside at the hottest times of the day. Because even though our weather doesn't get stupid hot here, our UV rays are really harsh and it's really easy to burn. So an example of our day in summer might look like I get up about 6 with Marius, and maybe I do some things on the computer, getting some things done there. Marius heads off to work by 6:30. The kids are up about 7:30. They have breakfast. They quite often just make their own breakfast based on, what bread or whatever is there. And then they do the animals right away. And then there's going to be some stuff dependent on Rowan's nap here. But basically last year, whenever Rowan went down for a nap, I headed out to the garden because she was only happy so long out there, or I didn't just want her baking in the sun out there. So Mac would stay inside with Rowan and take care of her. My rough game plan for this summer is that early mornings I need to work on getting up a bit earlier, more like 5, not 5:36, so I can get YouTube work done, get the kids started on their day. Depending on how Rowan does, if if we go out to the garden right away. I'm not sure how she will be, or if like her nap might be at like the worst time of day, because she might be at like the one midday nap. So we're not quite sure how that's going to work. Maybe I'll be doing evening gardening. But no matter how we're planning the gardening schedule this year, I will be maintaining that afternoon kitchen power hour, and the kids will be doing the afternoon tidy. Resetting the house every day, it's hard when your kids are really little because you're the one doing the main source of the work, but keep at it, because getting them in that habit and that routine means that by the time they're older, they can take over doing it. And it's amazing. Okay? Amazing. Oh, maybe the baby isn't going to sleep. I tucked her into bed and I thought she was asleep. Anyhow, I think where we live, the seasons are so intense and so opposite. In winter, it's cold and it's snowy and you don't really want to be outside that much. And then come summertime, you don't want to be inside. You want to just be outside all the time because you can. And to live in those seasons and to really embrace that is part of living seasonally. Marius was looking through the freezer for something and he's like, we have a whole box of good beef steaks. Like, why haven't we been eating these? I'm like, dude, in winter, you eat the pot roasts and the stew meats and all that sort of stuff. And yes, you still eat the odd steak and hamburger and such in winter, but I always make sure I've got lots of ground meat and good steaks going into summer, because you want to be grilling those things. Oh yes you do. Don't use up all your steaks in winter. You need to save those for summer. So now I'm getting a little too rambly. I'll share more about this probably on Instagram as we get into our hotter seasons. We actually are still a few weeks out from planting. There's still the odd little snow pile on the ground, but today was like probably 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 17 Celsius. No, not quite that. Maybe 60, 15 Celsius. It was warm. It was really warm today. We were in t-shirts outside. And so it's March. Sorry, it's not March. It's April. I don't even know what day it is today, guys. Maybe it's the 18th. I have completely lost track of the days. It's a Saturday. Last year, May 13th, we were direct seeding cold hardy things outside. So I'm expecting it will be similar this year. It's like peas and lettuces and that sort of thing, and prepping everything. And once we get into that, things are just full on. So we probably got another 2 weeks of waiting for the garden to dry out. It's still really wet. And then we're gonna be right into it. So right now we can get things done, like Marius built a cold frame, we're fixing fences. We were gonna paint another room, and then we decided we had outdoor projects we needed to work on. So I'm doing a bit of sewing, trying to get those things done before it gets to gardening. And yeah, once it takes off outside, it's just so nice to live outside all summer long.